Why do you hate that person? She never closes her mouth for 2 seconds and everything she has to say is criticizing others. Their shoes, their hair, their car, their marriage. She finally got let go at my work, but I still shudder sometimes thinking of her. She slept with several people from work at different times, then one by one denied it and slandered them to everyone who was around. To the point 2 of them were fired. One almost got arrested. We didn't find out until later that she had done this at her previous job as well. They knowingly took advantage of me while I was in a vulnerable state. She uses another friend for food and cigarettes and beer but acts like the victim all the time. She made my best friend hate me and was sexually abusing me. Well, of course I hate him, he's me. She physically harassed me, then called the cops on me just because I asked her to do her share of cleaning. They chose to support a rapist of mine over actually believe that their friend was a huge sexual predator. Cool. Honestly, I hope you understand the pain you cause me by experiencing it yourself one day. I only see him at work, but only thinking about him ruins my entire day. He's just such an asshole the way he talks. Even worse when he talks to me, as it doesn't take a lot to break me. Stiffed me on 2 months worth of pay. Right at Christmas. I sued and got the money a couple of years later with a little bit of interest added. But Christmas and that winter were hard for my family. Because I spent 9 years picking up after him and his mom. Getting shoved around and insulted by his family. Having all my concerns ignored and boundaries disrespected while he sat on his ass playing video games. Sending porn to other women and acting like I was the cause of all his problems. I'm writing through Google Translation. I hate him because he bullied me for the last 4 years of school. He spat at me, damaged my things, demanded money from me and almost convinced me a couple of times. But he stopped me from committing suicide. No one at school wanted to notice this. Because he is useless narcissist who constantly tries to make himself look as intelligent, funny, kind and busy, while actually, he is a selfish moron with a big ego, little conscience and no real talent. All his work is based about him feeling important and popular, not him accomplishing anything useful. He's a prime example of failing upward. Previous DUI. Enjoys being hated. Called someone on a recorded line a cunt. A few of us are pretty sure he's been at work drunk a few times. Awful at doing his job. Gets into arguments with people constantly. The list goes on and on. He's a narcissistic spider of a man. Entangling everyone with his smiles and then backstabbing and throwing you under the bus. Because she emotionally tortured our son. Then abandoned him. Then popped in and out to twist the knife. She mistreated both of us. She cheated. We divorced. She abused. I got custody and child support. She forfeited rights to avoid child support and abandoned. She eventually had 2 more kids. Which she at least half-assed attempted to raise. But still treated her first with bipolar levels of affection. Way more often on the indifferent end of the spectrum though. Now that he's grown, joined the military, and stationed not too far from her, she likes to pretend that she's supermom. Our son still carries a lot of baggage because of her actions that I can't help him with. I'll never not hate her for that. They are racist. That person talks over people constantly. Asks a question. Then waits 4 words into your answer to talk right through your answer. Then asks you to repeat yourself. Asks questions as a segue into pointless ignorant lectures. Answers questions that have nothing to do with what you asked. Bitches about millennials. Lies blatantly. Arrogant. Hands down made-up edicts that have nothing to do with what's going on. Then goes ballistic when you ignore them and respond appropriately to a situation. Has 2 lies and 2 excuses on deck whenever she does anything wrong. Wastes time when under deadline. Considers any conversation to be a one-up or put-down contest. Throws tantrums when she doesn't get her way. Goes completely out of her way to be miserable even when she gets her way. The motherfucker is lazy. Can't stand a lazy coworker. I did nothing bad or say anything bad to her, yet she humiliated me in front of a lot of people. Thinks she is better than everyone else. Tries to make my sister do all her work for her. And made fun of me because I said I was afraid of swimming in the ocean. They are two-faced. They act nice, but it was an act and I could tell years before everyone else. Blew out my candles at my 7th birthday party. I haven't forgotten Ben! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. They took advantage and manipulated me. Because she was treated like a daughter-in-law while I married to the youngest son. The son who followed all the in-laws' publicly held and loudly shouted values. Was treated like a maid and cook. The son. Drug addict, meth making in their house. That creature was sleeping with and living with. Not married to. Was treated like she was God's gift to the in-laws. Even after she slapped my 5 years old and still tries to claim rights to family property that she is no way entitled to. Oh. And she repeatedly misgendered at my Phil's funeral and tried to go into my child's private areas of the house without permission. I wouldn't let my dog pee on her if she was on fire because she might give him a disease.